Hey everybody, this is Jimmy with the unusual mind that I'm watching bad movies so you don't have to. On this episode of Behind the B Movie, we ask the timeless question: what would happen if a professional wrestler went on an erotic journey through a post-apocalyptic wasteland filled with mutated frog people? That's right, we are watching the Rowdy Roddy Piper classic, Hell Comes to Frogtown. So, make sure to grab your double shotguns because we're about to do the dance of the three snakes. Hell Comes to Frogtown is a 1988 American science fiction action film that was created by Donald G. Jackson. Jackson worked in a factory with his friend and eventual co-director Jerry Yunkins. Unfortunately, there was an accident in the factory which resulted in Jerry losing a couple of fingers. The insurance settlement was $8,000, which then Don and Jerry quickly used to cover some production costs for their first film, The Demon Lover. Don wouldn't go on to direct many mainstream features, mostly sticking with B films, but he was the favorite cameraman of James Cameron on the set of The Terminator. Jackson then began collaborating with Randall Frakes on the screenplay for Frogtown. Frakes had the whole story clear in his head, so it only took them 6 days to write the script. The film is set in a post-apocalyptic wasteland where few fertile men and women exist due to atomic fallout. As a result, the government places high priority on those who can still breed. Enter Sam Hell, played by Piper, a nomadic traveler who wanders the countryside. He is captured by MedTech and pressed into service as a gigolo/mercenary. He is sent across the wasteland to impregnate random women as well as infiltrate the mutant city Frogtown to rescue fertile female hostages. To make sure that the rebellious Hell follows his orders, he is forced to wear an electronic protective codpiece that will explode if he disobeys or tries to abort his mission. The film stars Rowdy Roddy Piper, Sandahl Bergman, Cecilia Verdell, and Rory Calhoun. Piper was a trained professional wrestler and Gold Glove boxer, beginning his career in the early 70s wrestling in the AWA, where he feuded with superstar Billy Graham, and then at Mid-Atlantic, where he defeated Ric Flair for the NWA Heavyweight Championship on Thanksgiving night 1982. He would then go on to have his infamous dog collar match against Greg the Hammer Valentine at Starrcade 1983. The match left Piper with a ruptured eardrum, permanently damaging his hearing. He then moved into the WWF as part of their national expansion. He feuded with Hulk Hogan and Mr. T, leading to the main event for the first WrestleMania. But in the WWF, it would not be his wrestling that would make him stand out, but a segment called Piper's Pit, where he would interview wrestlers and celebrities. This gave Piper, already adept at promos, a chance to really work on his delivery, often stealing the spotlight from his guests. The part of Sam Hell was originally written with Tim Thomerson in mind, but New World demurred. Daniel Stern was strongly pushed by New World, but Stern wanted certain aspects of the character changed. Finally, it came down between Roddy Piper and Ed Marinaro. Piper got an acting coach for the film, and it helped him develop his skills he would need to pursue his acting career. He worked in various other movies and TV shows, most famously with John Carpenter on his sci-fi thriller, They Live. Sandahl Bergman, who plays Spangle, appeared in various films before Frogtown, including Conan the Barbarian, Airplane 2, and Red Sonja. She would go on to have a lucrative career acting in mostly TV. Sandahl was supposed to be naked for the Dance of the Three Snakes set piece, but refused to do any nudity on the day of the sequence. As per R.J. Keisler, the character was originally written to be naked for the dance, but when Miss Bergman was hired for the role, one of the stipulations was no nudity. The scene was adjusted accordingly, and only Cecilia Verdell had a contractual agreement for nudity. Cecilia was still a relatively new actress, having appeared in multiple episodes of L.A. Law, but she would not go on to appear in many more features, instead focusing on television, where she appeared mostly in Supercarrier and Hunter, but would pop up in bit parts here and there, such as The X-Files and ER. Rory Calhoun was the most established actor, having worked steadily in film since the 50s, but he is most recognizable from his long-standing role on The Texan. This was the last film to be shot at the Indiana Dunes movie ranch before it was completely plowed under for a housing development. The film was shot on 16mm film over the course of 19 days. It is reported that Cyndi Lauper visited the set during the shooting of the film after her and Piper had become friends during her stint in the WWF. The film's score was recorded October 14th, 1986 at Amigo Studios in North Hollywood, California with non-union musicians. Additional dubs were recorded October 15th at Record Track in Hollywood near Paramount Studios. Steve Wang did all the frog makeup and special effects for only $12,000. Talk about a deal, because Wang had earned a reputation after his work on Harry and the Hendersons, Predator, and the Monster Squad. He had originally designed the Commander Toady creature to have 4 arms, and the 3 snakes were actually wired-controlled puppets. Christy Summers spent 3 hours in makeup each day for her role as Arabella. Moreover, it took a half hour to remove the makeup at the end of the day. Wang would go on to have an extensive career doing special effects. He would work on both the Freddy Krueger and Gremlins franchises, as well as 2001's Planet of the Apes, before he would return to the Predator franchise with Alien vs. Predator: Requiem. The critical reception for Hell Comes to Frogtown has been mixed to positive. DVD Talk gave the film 3 out of 5 stars, writing, "Rowdy Roddy Piper has to save the world by diddling beautiful babes and squashing 6-foot mutant toads with crummy attitudes. What's not to like?" Jason Cook from The Spinning Image rated the film a score of 6 out of 10 stars, writing, "Cheap and cheerful, its narrative lulls and directorial shortcomings are glossed over by a winning central performance and a smattering of witty dialogue. It's no cinematic masterpiece, but were there any talking mutant frogs in Citizen Kane?" The film spawned one sequel, Return to Frogtown, which was released directly to VHS in 1993. Toad Warrior was released in 1996 and later re-released as Max Hell Frog Warrior in 2002. According to Jackson, the film was intended as a standalone story. It was even given a nod by animated show Family Guy, having inspired the title of the episode, Hell Comes to Quahog, in 2006. Overall, Hell Comes to Frogtown is a whimsical post-apocalyptic oddity. The set design does a lot given the budgetary constraints, and the creature design is imaginative and the special effects are well done. Every actor plays their part with a tongue-in-cheek sense of humor that sets the tone for the film. The action scenes captivate, yet you have a general concern for the characters once you get to know them. But hands down, the best part of this movie is Rowdy Roddy Piper. He is one of those wrestlers whose transition into acting seem natural. He plays this role with a sense of charm that makes the character light up every scene he's in. Though I was hoping for more frog nudity, this film is insanely enjoyable. My only criticism is that it wasted the plotline for what could have been the greatest porno of all time. I say, give it a watch. And this has been Jimmy with the unusual mind, always watching bad movies so you don't have to. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with anyone you know who might want to take a trip to Frogtown.